Welcome to the Art of Leverage. Tiffanie Kellog, your host, and I am so excited today to be joined by someone that's here local to me, though maybe not local to you. Welcome, Saru. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Tiffany. Thank you very much for having me in your podcast.
So do me a favor, tell me a little bit about Constellation for Health.
Oh, it's interesting question. So it takes me back a little bit. I'm a tech entrepreneur by nature, and I've loved building companies. And this Constellation 4 journey started about 5 years ago when I'd exited my previous business and had helped the local ecosystem of startups and grow that startup ecosystem. I was looking at what do I want to do next, and healthcare has always been a passion of mine. And certain family events happened, and then I looked at it and said, okay, let's at least devote some time. And now I have the liberty of choosing what I want to do in the, let's say, the second or third innings of my entrepreneur career. I said, let's make an impact in healthcare, and some opportunities came along the way. So timing worked out, and then Constellation for Health started officially about 3.5 years ago. And we are kind of dealing with some of the chronic frictions and inefficiencies that exist in healthcare, especially US healthcare. As you know, and most of the audience will know, the US healthcare is 20% of our GDP. Many parts of it are broken. I am the first one to say that we don't get the care that we deserve for the amount we spend, right? So based on my prior experiences over the last 20 plus years working in this area from a technology perspective, as an employee, as a head of the household, taking care of my family, as a vendor providing solutions to the industry, I noticed certain gaps that I want to take solutions to, and at least make a small dent, if not an impact. That's how Constellation for Health started. So very specifically, what we do is two specific areas: the referral coordination between primary care physicians and specialists. When a patient has to be sent from the PCP to the specialist, that process is broken. Many times it's a black hole until the patient comes back. The PCP does not know what happened to the patient. And 50% of those referrals do not result in an appointment, by the way. That's just statistics, right? So we've built a solution for that referral coordination and management. That's one clean area that people can relate to, as anybody who's gone through referrals. The second area is a little bit more complicated because it happens behind the scenes. We all get impacted by it, but we don't know how it impacts us because we are not in the thick of things. This area is called provider network management. So every insurance company, every health insurance plan has to have a network of providers that accepts and contracts with that health plan. That whole process of building that contracting the providers to accept that insurance health plan is called provider network management. And if the network is not strong, if the network is not managed properly, the network data quality is bad, we as patients and members get impacted. And in most health plans, this process is broken, this process is archaic, and providers are not happy about it, health plans are not happy about it, and we as patients are not happy about it. Where we see that as a problem as patients is that we get surprise bills because we end up seeing out-of-network providers.
Yes.
In the best case. In the worst case, we don't get the right care, and access to care and equity of care is a problem. So these are the two big bucket items that we're dealing with right now.
So who are your clients? Who are the people that you work with, and how do you help them?
So for the referral coordination, currently we are focused on the vision care industry. So we are specifically working with optometrists and ophthalmologists, and they are our clients because they are the ones that need to coordinate the referrals between themselves and give the appropriate attention to the patient. So that's the client segment for that solution. The provider network management solutions are focused on the health insurance companies, from small to mid-size insurance companies, and some large ones too. And typically the clients are their enterprise clients. They're insurance plans that have a lot of systems and capabilities that we can augment and enhance. So
Gotcha. And what have been some of your struggles? So I know you started this in April of 2020, which is one of those, great times. There's been a lot of businesses born that mid 2020. So what have been some of your struggles or obstacles that you've overcome over the past few years?
That's a entrepreneur's journey, right? So luckily for me, since this is not the first time I was doing it, I wasn't making some of the rookie mistakes. So I was able to overcome those things. And COVID did impact us, but COVID also was a plus for us. As a technology company, in my previous company also was a technology company, we were used to remote and co-working and things like that in the past, but not 100% remote working. That was a big challenge. And as you said, April 2020 is when we officially launched. So it was a great time to pick. And those days, the first 6 to 8 months of going, in fact, even for the whole year, because we have a lot of overseas staff as well, different countries went into different stages of quarantine, travel restrictions, even coming to office was a problem. So we had to kind of respond and react based on those things. Our people were falling sick as well based on the different waves that are happening. Yeah. So making commitments in the early days of our product development was challenging. But luckily our customers were understanding through the first 18 months. So we worked through those processes. The challenges over those 2 years were predominantly related to hiring challenges, especially in the tech workforce. 2020, 2021, and then early part of 2022 were very difficult to hire the right technical folks. So as our product development became more complex and we needed more capabilities, hiring was our number one challenge. We had to get very creative on how we do hiring and things like that, and how do we create a global workforce and get the productivity out of them as well. So that was the big number one challenge.
Any suggestions or recommendations to the audience listening and watching of some of the things that you've overcome and tips to give them?
Yeah, I mean, quite a few. I mean, obviously there's a lot of battle scars I carry in my back, right? So some of those things are experiences, and experience cannot be taught. But for the early stage entrepreneurs, the key, 2 or 3 takeaways I would recommend is, first of all, number one, you've got to know your customer and the product market fit. Believe it or not, even after 3 years, we are still pivoting on some of the areas. Okay, so and healthcare is slow, and we still learn quite a bit. So we are still going through the journey. So customer discovery, product market fit, especially as founders and the founder teams, that will be the number one coaching point I can give based on my experiences, because you could spend a lot of money building solutions and products that the market does not want at all. And then you kind of look at it and say, okay, what a wasted effort, right? The idea may be good, right? The second part is obviously on the hiring and hiring challenges. The key to success is to create a culture and sense of belonging that you have to create. In fact, early on, we created core values for our company. What do we stand for? What do we represent? Again, this comes from my earlier companies, the mistakes I'd made in hiring and other things. And also, even when I hired the right people, maybe I caused a misalignment as well, right? So that also is possible. It's not that we hired wrong people all the time, right? So the alignment is very important. So we created these core values, and then what do you stand for is represented in those core values. And implementing that over a remote culture, 100% remote, is always a challenge. So you have to really invest a lot of your time. And third and final thing will obviously be managing finances and ensuring that you're keeping an eye on the finances and ensuring that you have the runway to deal with the ups and downs of a startup ecosystem.
Gotcha.
So that's where being close to the customer also will give you the right input, so you can keep adjusting your financial model as well. So those are 3 key takeaways I would say. So
where do you find most of your customers?
It's a challenge. There's no one single trick for that. The healthcare market itself is challenging. We have long sales cycles. We have highly cost-sensitive customers, and we struggle through that process. Most of the customers come through word of mouth. There is no replacement for that, and you have to keep building your network and exercise your network. Keep listening. Keep looking for entry points. Since we deal with mostly B2B, I'm not an expert on B2C, consumer-faced.
Different world.
Completely different world. Most of our stuff happens through networking, highly sustainable activities, digital marketing and things like that, and building your thought leadership and preparing for this long haul of long sales cycle. Highly consultative selling, solution selling is how we approach it. So we have a lot of strategic advisors in the team that we bring into the thing to react to what we're doing, as well as help us make the connections, number one. Number two, we also engage the research firms and analysts who can validate our solution and give us a boost by including us in their kind of the marketing that they do, and publishing thought leadership articles and participating in these types of engagements with you like Tiffany and other industry experts, and exposing ourselves to these types of things and constantly trying to get in front of the stakeholders and making a difference. So that's really our go-to-market secret sauce. And we also, once we deal with a very large enterprise, we build those relationships that then goes to the next.
Excellent. So we've talked a lot about what's happening, what's going on. What's the future look like? What's the vision for the next 5 or 10 years?
I would say I would section it off into kind of 2-3 segments. The next 18 months is very critical for us. We're going through, like I said, a little bit of a pivot and things like that. We've learned a lot in the last year and a half of marketing our current solutions and things like that. And based on the market feedback, we have to make certain changes. So we have to go through that change. It's like a hockey stick that you have to go through. And based on inputs and from our partners as well, the next 18 months, we're focused on product and product development and getting that lined up nicely. And assuming that kind of takes off on the right trajectory, scaling and growth, raising capital will be the late 2024 type of horizon for that type of stuff. 5 years from now, I would say if we are doing the right stuff, my hope is to have a larger segment of customers that we're able to serve. And we can also have a pretty robust set of data that we can show that we have impacted a finite quantity of lives in terms of referrals, outcomes, and the ease of doing business between providers and payers. And so I hope to have that statistic to say, either we reduce the cost by X% and increase the outcomes for better the outcomes for a few thousand patients, things like that. I would want to be claiming in the next 5 years for the company. So
love it. Yeah. I look forward to checking back in 5 years and seeing all of the stuff that you've created.
Yeah, of course. No, wish me luck, and we definitely need all the support that we can find.
So we talked a lot about the business side of it, though at Asentiv it is all about the amazing business and spectacular life, because all work and no play is never good for any of us. So when you're not creating this amazing organization, what do you like to do for fun?
So right now my passion is flying. So I've always wanted to be a recreational pilot. So I'm kind of going through the process to get my pilot license. This will be my 3rd attempt to get a pilot license. I'll
like petered off before you made it all the way through, or what stopped you in the past?
Well, life happens, right? So when I was younger, I almost got it, and then I moved for a job and things like that, and then had to stop it. And then now that I have a little bit more time in my hands, I started picking that up. And so that I spend a lot of time on that. Of course, there's exams and other things to prepare for. So that takes up time. And I hope to have my license pretty soon. And continue on that journey. So that's where I spend a lot of my fun time. I have two lovely daughters, and so they both have certain things, and I've been helping them in their career paths in the last couple of years, and then they're kind of transitioning out of that. So that takes up a major chunk of my time beyond flying. So, and I love living in Tampa. Tampa is a beautiful city to live in. I've lived here for about 27 years, and except for the summer weather, of course, which we can work around. It's a beautiful place to live in and raise a family.
I 100% understand the Tampa thing. I'm from the South. I lived in Charlotte before here, and I'm like, it's just as hot there in the summer. It gets cooler, but it's just as hot during the day. Yeah.
I'm also excited about how Tampa is transforming itself in the last 5 years, especially as a tech entrepreneur. Imagine me starting my first company 21 years ago in Tampa. Nobody knows what tech company is in Tampa compared to what is now the ecosystem that we've all been able to establish, and the university systems here that have flourished. So definitely I see a lot of transformational effects going on in the last 5 years in Tampa. So that's very encouraging.
So if people are interested in learning more about you, learning more about the company, how can they do so?
Yeah, obviously going to our website, constellation4.com. By the way, the full company name is Constellation Health Solution. Our brand is Constellation 4. The 4 comes from the patients, payers, and providers of the 3 big ecosystems, or galaxies as we call it in the healthcare. And the 4th one is us. So these are the 4 big galaxies. That's how the 4 came in. And we are planning to make new constellation, new mappings. So that's where the brand comes from. So constellation4.com is our website. That's a good starting point. And we're on LinkedIn and all the social media platforms. They can reach out to us through DM on that, or reach out to us via the website. My email is saru@constellation4.com. I do get a lot of junk, but we can filter it up. Definitely we'll pay attention to the email that comes to me as well. So all these are the right ways to reach out to us.
Brilliant. And we'll include all of those down below, y'all. And then the last question I have for you is, anything new and exciting happened recently or coming up that you want to share with our viewing audience?
Yeah, no, so we've been working steadily in the last 6 months on the next version of our product. The product release will be coming out. In fact, our digital marketing team is preparing the press release. So we call it the Intelligent Network Manager and the Referral Care Coordinator. So the Intelligent Network Manager is a capability that we have built, especially on top of Salesforce Health Cloud, that accelerates Salesforce implementations for healthcare use cases. So that product is about to be released, and we're in the final phase of testing it. And on top of that, we've built the version 2 of Referral Care Coordination, which also is pretty exciting for us. So both those will be released simultaneously, along with some customer references that have used it, and kind of give us a good check mark on, hey, this is a good stuff. Based on that as well, Gartner Research, which is a premier research company for tech companies, they've been tracking our progress over the last year and a half or so, and they've actually written a case study on this particular solution, which is an independent case study that is also officially published, but we'll be including references to that case study as well as part of this product release. So that's what has been kind of exciting in the last 4 or 5 months for us. So.
When that happens, send me over the link, and I'll make sure I include that in the show notes here so people can check that out. Well,
That's wonderful, Tiffanie.
Thank you so very much for your time to be here today. It was a pleasure to get to interview you.
Likewise, thank you very much. All the exposure that you're able to give us, we thank you very much for that, and looking forward to connecting with more of your audience as well. And if I can be of any help to any other entrepreneur, definitely feel free to reach out. It's a lonely journey, and we all need to support each other.
Yes, definitely. Well, thanks y'all for watching. As always, stay tuned. We have another episode of The Art of Leverage coming to you, hosted by myself, or another amazing Asentiv facilitator. We look forward to seeing you soon. Happy networking, y'all.